Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a few ways you can food prep for the holiday. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. It is a day where I cook basically all day and even all night if I have to. But I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier this year, and I'm going to food prep some of the basic items. We are going to have our basic turkey and our basic ham, but we're going to pre-season these items so then it will be easier for us on the day of cooking. I also have a few side dishes in plan so that we can get that ready and so that we have everything chopped up and prepared. It is going to be easier on me and I won't be so tired trying to get the whole dinner prepared for that night. The first thing I'll be prepping is the baby bella mushrooms, and I know it's not a whole lot to cut up, but it is 2 packages of mushroom, and after it's cut up it'll be easier to dry, and then in the cooking process there won't be so much liquid coming out of the mushrooms. Okay guys, don't mind that I changed my outfit, but I had to go somewhere and get cleaned up, so that's why you'll see me in this outfit for the rest of the video. My family loves mushroom, especially in chicken marsala, and that's why I cooked 2 packages of mushrooms. This time I did use the baby bella mushrooms, which made the chicken marsala very dark, but it did not change or alter the flavor. But next time I would like to continue using the white button mushrooms. Here are the cut up mushrooms. They fit perfectly in these small containers, and I do have a small fridge, so this will fit perfectly in it. And I also didn't wash the mushrooms. They were fairly clean. So when it's time to cook it, I won't have to pull out so much moisture from them. Now I'm going to be cutting up these 3 bell peppers because I'm making some mango salsa. We still have leftover mangoes from Costco. These are 2 out of the 4 that I have left. So I'm going to cut up the mangoes and see how much it can make. I am going to be cutting up also red onion and tomatoes and then some cilantro. But the cilantro and the tomatoes I'll be cutting on the day of Thanksgiving. I never know the best way to cut a bell pepper. I just cut it wherever I feel comfortable and makes a less amount of mess. Get these seeds out. Some people are fancy when they cut a pepper that it just leaves the stem intact. I'm not fancy like that. I'm just gonna cut it straight down and then just pull the seeds and the stem. And what are these things? You guys know what these things, some of the bell peppers have them? Do you use this or do you throw them away? I usually not use it, or if it's big enough, I'll cut up and use it in my cooking. So now that most of the seeds are already taken out, I'm going to go ahead and cut these. I'm not a professional cutter, okay? I usually like things simple. So cutting vegetables is not my forte, but I'm going to try the best that I can. And I like to take these things out. I don't like these things in my cooking. That's half a bell pepper. I still have 5 more pieces to go. Okay, so all the bell peppers are already cut up, and now it's time to cut up the mangoes. These are much riper than a couple days ago. They have a little bit of, you can push them in a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut them up like this and then scoop it out. And hopefully they can pop up easier like this. I may not have cut them deeply enough. I'll use a knife. I'm going to try to cut this a little deeper without cutting my hand. The knife is pretty sharp because I just sharpened it. Am I getting you guys nervous? Here, let me put it down. There. Maybe I can try to scoop it out. Yeah, that worked better. Okay. It's a good amount so far. My mom's eating all my scraps. Alright, so let's go cut up this other mango. I think that's good enough. Now I'm going to cut the red onion. I don't know why, but the onions are my favorite things to cut. I used to hate cutting these, but after you've cut them so much, you know, it doesn't bother you anymore, and I actually enjoy cutting this. I find these actually easier to cut than those vegetables. So, I mean, I do cut the ends first, because I don't cut all the way. Some people save the ends and they cut it off for last, but for me, I don't mind it. And usually I cook with yellow onions. I don't cook much with red onions. I'm gonna make them smaller than that. I might not need, my eyes hurt. Oof, 1 second. I might not need the whole entire onion. I think I'm gonna end up using half. So now, and I like it small. Some people might think that this is too small for a salsa, but I like it small. All right, let's put your onions in here. So that's enough. I don't want to put too many onions in here because my family is not a fan of raw onions. And you see I cut it very, very small. So if you don't like it this small, you can cut it bigger. Now all I have to do on the day of Thanksgiving is cut up some cilantro and the tomatoes, and it's ready. Forgot to mix it up a little bit. I don't want the mangoes tasting straight like raw onions. Isn't that pretty? Since I already have my cutting board smelling like onion, I might as well cut the rest of the onion up that I need, including the garlic for Thursday. Now I'm going to cut the rest of my onions up. Again, nothing special about it, just pieces of onion or slices of onion, doesn't really matter. As a kid, my mom used to always ask me to cut the onion and garlic. Actually, it wasn't even asking. She commanded me to cut the onion and garlic. So now, I don't mind as much cutting it up. And the more you do something, the more efficient you get at it, right? Oh, not this. That was a little slippery. Anyway. So, yeah. So now, it doesn't bother me as much. This onion is a little slippery. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so let me cut the rest of this onion. You don't have to hear me cry throughout the whole thing. And I'll get back to you. My eyes are officially done crying. So now I can go ahead and continue to cook. I'm just going to prep 3 garlic bulbs for Thursday. I think that's going to be sufficient because most of this I'm just going to be using for chicken marsala anyway. So the way I do it, just stick a knife, crack it open. This is a lot of garlic to prep. And then you can take the individual bulbs and just, well, this one's already open, but I would take it and I would just take the back of my knife and just crush it. And that'd be an easy way to take out the skin. And then I'm not going to cut this with the knife. I'm actually going to take my little food processor and I'm gonna cut it that way. I don't like the smell of the garlic. It stays on the skin a little longer, and sometimes I go to work smelling like garlic. So let me just smash a few more, and then I'm gonna put this in the food processor. Well, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna get my bowl of garbage, and I learned this bowl of garbage from Rachel Ray. Let me take another one. So just lay it down, and it's cracked. All right, so I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'll see you guys again when I'm done. Here's my itty bitty food processor, and this is the garlic that I peeled. I'm just gonna toss it in there, give it a few pulse, and it should be chopped up. I can do low or high on this, doesn't matter. And that's it. It's all done. Okay. So now I'm just gonna put everything in this bowl and save it for when I need it. I'm gonna have to take a spoon to get the rest out. Before cutting up any more vegetables, I'm gonna go ahead and make my cranberry sauce. So real easy, on the package it even tells you the recipe, but I'm not gonna use the full amount of sugar. So I'm gonna take one of these bags of cranberry, a cup of water. You can rinse the cranberries if you want. And the recipe calls for 1 cup of sugar, so I'm just gonna use 3/4 cups. And spread it in there. I'm also gonna add the rind of an orange, because I just want this to have a little bit of a citrusy taste. And then to this I am going to add a cinnamon stick. I bought this handy dandy tool. I think they call it microblade. I got this in the thrift store in North Carolina when we went there earlier this year. You could also put juice of an orange if you want, so I can literally cut this up and then squeeze the juice out of it. Smells really good. It's like a natural potpourri. And then we're gonna add a cinnamon stick. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and mix that up and put it on some heat. I'm gonna see, I think it's medium heat. I have a clear cover so I can see what's happening. You do need a dish that's pretty much bigger than the amount of cranberries and water, because this thing is gonna start bursting and you don't want to get burned. I have a very small kitchen, but I do make it work. And so now I am going to add the juice to this orange and squeeze it into our cranberry sauce. It looks a little dry, but I'll use it anyway. I'm trying to squeeze this with one hand. Okay. This thing sounds like it's about to boil. Okay, that's good enough. The cranberry sauce cooks pretty fast, so I wouldn't go too far away from the stove. This is already just under 5 minutes. I'm just gonna give this a stir and leave the cover off. This is almost done. Looks good. The cranberry sauce looks pretty much done. Let's give it a taste. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I can taste the orange in here. That's really good. Now it's time to make one of my favorite desserts. We're just prepping it, so we're gonna open the cans and it's gonna take an overnight draining. You really want the fruit to be as dry as possible. I had an electric can opener and I can't find it, so now I'm gonna have to do everything by hand. Now 4 cans is good for one, I guess to one party, but we're attending 2 parties. So I'm gonna have to go back to the store and look for some more. When I went to ShopRite today, I didn't find any more fruit cocktail. So our second Thanksgiving party is gonna be after Thanksgiving. So hopefully they're gonna have more in stock. It's not perfect, but it does do the job. This is a very popular dessert and you can make it in different ways. You can use different canned fruits, fresh fruits if you like. You can use different palm fruits in a jar. You can add a couple of different flavorings. My two favorites are the cherry maraschino cherry juice or the buko pandan extract. You're going to need a colander and you're also going to need a container that goes underneath, because as this fruit drains, it's going to pull out more liquid. So every once in a while you have to take it out from the refrigerator and then just chuck the liquid. I don't save the fruit cocktail liquid. I tried to use it in my hand before and it just gives it a different taste. So I just end up throwing it away. I'm gonna add a third one. I did it again. And the fourth can. So let me dump this liquid that's in here already. I tend to leave it on my counter for the next hour because it's gonna pull out a lot of liquid. And then after an hour, then I go ahead and I put it in the refrigerator overnight. This is gonna be my last vegetable that I'm gonna cut up tonight. I should have just finished all the veggies, but I just really needed a break from cutting up all the onion and garlic and just cook or make something sweet. So anyway, so let's cut this up. I do have to cut up apples and the potatoes and tomatoes on Thanksgiving. Those I can't cut up earlier. Those have to be cut up on the day of. But anyway, let's get this done, this sad and poor celery stalk, and get this to good use. I must have bought this maybe a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago. It looks pretty soft, but it will make it for Thursday. I'm gonna cut off the bottoms, and I'm gonna use this for making soup, because we do need to make some stock for our chicken marsala, as well as putting this into the turkey. I'm leaving some onto the floor, but this is going to be the easier veggie to cut. I used to hate celery too, and as I started getting older, my taste changed. Have you guys hated something as a child and started to like it as an adult? Alright, so that's it. That's pretty quick. And now I'm going to add this into the bag. I have my little handy dandy helper to hold the camera as I do this. I lost my, well, not lost, I misplaced my camera stand. So I haven't been able to use it in a while. Oh, there's a little liquid on the bottom. Alright. Alright, so that's the veggie for the celery, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator. Here's more of the liquid that just came out of the fruit, so I'm gonna go ahead and dump this out. I'm gonna leave it on the counter a little bit longer, dump that liquid out, and then put it in the fridge. Okay, so this is what we have prepped so far. We have the mango sauce on the back, which we still have to add our cilantro and our chopped up tomatoes. We also have our cut up celery in that bag, and I think I might have to buy some more. But anyway, I also have my onions. Onions, I have them chopped up finely and also in cubes like this. The larger cubes is gonna go be stuffed into the turkey, and the smaller one is gonna be cooked for chicken marsala. I am going to be making some chicken stock, so I'll probably use some of the onions from there. And then I have the bowl of chopped up garlic. I have the red onion. For another dessert, I do want to make those little pecan tart pies. Now I'm trying to make this easy, so I'm going to try to find some pastry pies or pastry dough. And if I don't have it, or if I can't find it, I'm going to have to make my own, and that's going to be a hassle. So another recipe I did see online though is at, from foodwishes.com. They did take the croissant and cut it up and use that as the mini pastry pie. So if I'm lucky to find my own pastry pie dough, then I'll use that. Otherwise, I could use the croissant bread as the pie, or I have to make my own pastry dough, which it's gonna take me a long time. So anyway, for now, this is what I'm gonna prep tonight. I have to go shopping because I forgot to buy some spinach and also just like the croissant bread or the croissant dough, because I'll be making like a little stuffed croissant with spinach and garlic in it. So anyway, shopping tomorrow, and I'll see you then. So the next day, we are going to prepare our meats. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and I want to start cooking the meat. Earlier, I did say that I was going to cook one of each kind of meat, a pork, chicken, and beef. And we're going to start off with the beef. I already pre-seasoned the meat with salt and pepper, so now all we have to do is grind it on either side, and then I'm going to pop this in the slow cooker and let it cook. And that way it will get off my stove because I have a limited space on my stove, and then we're going to continue on with our meats. My cast iron pot is really hot, so we should be able to get a good sear on the beef. Okay, now that we seared our beef, I'm going to go ahead and saute some onions in our cast iron pot. I'm using the onions that we cut up yesterday. I'm just going to add a little bit more. I also added a little bit of garlic in there, and now I'm going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of Marsala wine. All the brown bits is removed from the pan. Oop. And now I'm going to add it to our beef. And with this, I am going to add Worcestershire sauce, some tarragon, some red pepper, and some paprika. Because I have a small kitchen, this is my setup. I have the crock pot on top of my rice holder, and so it's gonna sit there until it gets fully cooked. I'm just gonna go ahead and add the spices that I told you. So Worcestershire, some tarragon, red pepper, and lastly cayenne pepper. I may add a bay leaf in here too. I did add some chicken stock to my cast iron pot just to deglaze it a little bit more, and that's why you see more liquid in here. It's probably gonna need more liquid because I don't think this is gonna be enough for a slow cooker. So I'll probably add like another 2 cups total by the time this is done. We're gonna cover this and we're going to slow cook it for the longest amount on here. So we'll program it to 10 hours. Forgot the parsley, so I just added that, and I should just add the water right now. Okay guys, so just checking on my beef, I accidentally added cilantro instead of parsley, but when I opened the lid it smelled really good, so that was like a good thing to add. But anyway, I did add a little parsley just now and a little bit more water as well. So now we're gonna start getting the filling for the croissants ready. I'm gonna saute some garlic and then the spinach, and that's gonna be one side dish. I am going to be putting that cranberry orange peel, I think it's called cheese goat or something, and then the pancetta. But the pancetta, I think we don't need to do anything with that. I'm just gonna go ahead and just fill it into the croissant. Anyway, so this is the garlic that we chopped yesterday. I'm gonna put maybe 2 teaspoons of it. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. I don't want the garlic to burn, I just want it to get slightly brown. Now we're just gonna add a handful of spinach, maybe 2 handfuls. This is going to cook down a lot, but I don't need a lot either for the filling. You know what? I'm thinking maybe I should just add everything in there so I don't have to cook this again. So this is the whole entire container of spinach. It's already cooked down a lot. Before I continue cooking, I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. I have some dishes in the sink, so I'm just gonna wash that up and then we'll start cooking our ham. All right guys, this is what came from that big container of spinach. So sad, it's so little. Anyway, it's gonna be enough for our croissant, and I am gonna dump out the extra liquid in that bowl because our croissant's gonna get soaked if I add that. Just went down to the basement and my mom's getting the leche flan ready. She already put the caramelized sugar on the bottom of the pan, and she has her egg yolks prepared. All right, and time to get our ham, and we're gonna start boiling this. It's heavy. All right, so I'm coming from the basement. My mom lives there, and she has a refrigerator and some space in the freezer. So this was not in the freezer, this was in the refrigerator, or else I'd be in trouble. This ham would not be defrosted by tomorrow. Now we need to open these 3 pineapple cans, and this is what we are going to be boiling the ham. Now 3 is what I find to be just the right amount. 2 is not enough, because we are going to reduce this sauce and it's going to create a nice sauce or a nice glaze to go over the ham. And I also get Dole pineapple juice. I don't get any other brand because it never comes out the same. I put my apron on because I already had a stain in my shirt. You don't need to see that. We're going to open these 3 cans, and I have my 16-quart pot on the chair. Again, I have a little kitchen, so I make do with what I have. Let me shake this first. Every time I make this roast ham, everybody loves it. It's the first dish to be eaten up first. All right, so I have my pot here. This is the pot that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna pour it. Okay, get those little bits on the bottom. Got a piece of paper in there. Here's my 16-quart pot, and as you can see, the pineapple juice is less than half. This is the free ham I got from ShopRite. It weighs 11 pounds, so not crazy big. I'm gonna try to cut this without cutting myself. Ew. Not crazy big, but just enough for our family. And then I have to repeat this whole process for Saturday for the Friendsgiving. So I have another ham that I just put in the fridge, and that should be defrosted by Friday, and then we're gonna cook it the same way I'm cooking this ham. All right, so this is the shank half, and I'm just gonna pop it in here. You can't see it, but it's gonna go in there. Here's our shank half. It fits perfectly into this pot. And normally I have a difficult time laying it on its side because we do flip it over, but I do have extra room. So yeah, we're gonna boil this for an hour and then flip it and boil it for another hour. Okay, so this is our first bump in the road. I thought this turkey would have been defrosted already. We never put it in the freezer. It must have been frozen when we bought it because it's still frozen. It's rock hard. So I'm not gonna be able to season it. So I know it's not recommended, but I am going to leave it on the counter for a few hours and hopefully it defrosts that way. I have read where you can run in cold water over it, but I don't have all the space in my sink and it's going to be a waste of water. So I'm going to leave it on my counter for several hours. Maybe before bedtime it'll be defrosted enough for me to season it, but for now it's still pretty hard. Like, I'm knocking on it, right? I can press it just slightly, but not really enough to season the turkey. So we'll check on that later. All right, so this is the second bump in the road. I put this heavy cream in the freezer just to chill for about an hour. It was longer than an hour, it must have been 2 to 3 hours. And can't make my heavy cream or my whipped cream right now. So this is another thing I'm gonna leave on the counter, and by tonight this should be defrosted, because we do need to make our fruit salad and we need to get that in the freezer, and that has to get nice and cold and chilled. But we have to put all the ingredients together, and this was one of them. So let's do something fun. Let's, for our very first time, make the mini pecan pies, and I'm going to show you the recipe that I found online. So this video was a very lengthy video so far, and I decided to make a separate video of the mini pecan pies. That will be coming soon. It's been 2 hours, and this is how the ham looks like after the reduction. And you see the ham has a nice color, and the pineapple sauce really reduced a lot. And so anyway, I'm going to take this ham out, and then we're going to reduce the pineapple sauce even more.
Where did Camille put it? Where did Camille put the pizza?
This is the ham after 2 hours of boiling. It's a little bit soft, not too soft. It's still holding its shape. The backside did get a little bit of color, but that's okay because we're going to be putting the glaze on top. So if I stick a fork in it, ooh, it's pretty tender. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it cool down on the counter. Let it dry out a little bit. I'm gonna put it into the refrigerator, and then tomorrow we can put the glaze and then bake it until it gets nice and brown. We're gonna turn back the heat on medium heat, and we're gonna reduce this till it gets a nice dark thick glaze. Okay, so I'm not gonna have any time to prep the chicken marsala today. It's gonna be tomorrow. And this turkey, it's still a little bit hard, but I would say in a couple hours time we can at least put some dressing underneath the skin. And so I think that's how we're gonna end the vlog. But anyway, let's continue making the fruit salad because we haven't even gotten there yet. And I accidentally was filming the mini pecan pies. That's actually supposed to be a separate video. So I think I'm gonna have to just cut the footage out because it is a very long footage and show you another time. Or just fast forward it and then just re-record. Anyway, so let's get on with the fruit salad. My mind is escaping me today. I was supposed to take out these chicken out of the freezer and so I can slice them in half, and I totally forgot. I usually don't slice it, but I just want to make this fast. I might just not slice them at all and just cook it as is. I'm gonna have to take like a little bit of a hammer to it or something, but I've cooked it before without cutting it and without flattening the meat. So anyway, let me put this in a pan, and so that will be ready for tomorrow. Just realizing I might not even have any space in the refrigerator. I'm not sure if I should just put it back in the freezer and take out early in the morning. Anyway, here it is. It's in the pan. It's not gonna make a mess, but I don't want it to spoil, so I'm gonna figure out what to do with these. To make the sauce for the fruit salad, you're gonna need a few ingredients. Very simple. I use 1 block of cream cheese, and it's softened. It's been room temperature. It's been sitting on my table for at least a couple of hours. And then I'm gonna use at least 1 can of evaporated milk. I'm sorry, of condensed milk. Sometimes I put 1.5. It depends how much fruit you're adding. But I don't want to make this into a very sweet dessert, so I'm just going to put 1. Be careful not to cut myself. Just going to wash my hands real quick. And now we're going to beat this together. I should have just beat the cream cheese, but since it's really soft, I think we won't have any problem. Thanks, Mom. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty soft. I can just easily press on it. So, I just realized I also have to whip the heavy whipping cream. And I was going to save the glass bowls. So now, I'm going to transfer this into another bowl, and I'm going to use the glass bowl to mix the heavy whipping cream. I've been pretty much cooking all day, but this is going to be it for me tonight. So anyway, let's make this heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna pour this. Ooh. Is it still frozen? To get this heavy whipping cream nice and thick, it's good if you had a very cold bowl, cold whipping cream, and even cold whisk. So I don't have everything cold, but I'm gonna try my best and get it done. About after 5 long minutes, I finally got a nice thick whipping cream. I think it's just about done. It's holding its peak. My table is a mess right now, but all these ingredients we're gonna mix together. We have the fresh fruit, the whipped cream, the cream cheese, and the condensed milk, and then we also have fresh shredded coconut. There's a little bit of liquid on the bottom, so I have to be careful not to add that because you don't want this fruit salad to be watery. You want it to be nice and thick, and that's why we drained it overnight. I'm going to add the shredded coconut. This is a good helping of shredded coconut too. I'm gonna save a little bit for me so I can eat it. Let me show you guys how it looks like for now. Here's our fruit salad. I'm trying not to disturb the heavy whipping cream yet, but I think it's time to add it now. And we could also add the maraschino juice now as well. Actually, we should add this last because if this is too watery, then I try to not use this at all or just use very little. So this is 1 pint of heavy cream. Usually I use a whole lot more, and it gets to be too much because that's just how I usually do it. Okay. And I think that might be enough of the heavy whipping cream. We're going to add a little bit of this to give it some color.
What's that?
Maraschino juice.
Huh?
You can also add the cherries in here, but I want to save these cherries for the ham. So it's going to get a nice pink color as well as a little bit of a cherry flavor. Now I'm going to need 2 hands to mix this well, and then I'll show you how it looks like at the end. And here is the fruit salad. This is everyone's favorite. So I'm just going to chill this in the freezer for a little bit. Now if you were serving it, then I would say you don't necessarily have to put it in the freezer, but you do want it nice and cold. So anyway, this was 4 cans of fruit. I would love to have 5, but the store always sells out on fruit, on the fruit cocktail. You could also put tropical fruit, or you can put pineapple, you can put peaches, basically anything what you want, but this was an easy way to make the fruit cocktail. Alright, so it goes in the freezer. Alright guys, finally we have the sauce for the ham all done. It is going to get thickened a little bit more as it cools. And look how beautiful it looks. It has a nice deep caramel color. Can't wait to taste it once it's cooled, but we do have to glaze the ham, and that's going to be for tomorrow. So I've done a lot of cooking and a lot of prepping this whole day and part of yesterday, and I'm tired. We still have a lot of things to do. I still have to cook the mashed potato. Usually I just take the easy route and I use the potato flakes and add butter, sour cream. But this time I'm gonna actually bake the potato. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but it is gonna taste delicious. So the turkey is still kind of frozen. I think we're gonna wait till tomorrow. We're gonna have to put it back in the refrigerator. And my chicken for the chicken marsala is still also frozen, and we're gonna have to also put it in the refrigerator. So it's gonna be another long morning till early afternoon for us to cook. And then I have that little the spinach for the little croissants, and that I'm gonna have to bake tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to really think and plan my day out and finish my cooking, my Thanksgiving cooking. But this was my prep. This is the most that I can do at this time. I don't want to overexert myself because I'm still trying to get over the flu, but I think we've gone far. We've gone pretty far. So, alright guys, thank you for watching this very long video. I am going to, oh, you know what? I didn't finish cooking the mini pecan pies. I think I'm just going to either edit that out. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this content, this very long content, please like and subscribe. And have a very happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next time. Bye. With much love, sweat, and tears, our Thanksgiving dinner is finally done. We had a successful dinner, a delicious one at that. The ham and turkey did come out just a little dry, but it was so flavorful. And that beef that was also delicious with all the spices that I added, and the mashed potatoes was well worth making a homemade. It was the top of our list for the Thanksgiving dinner. Alright everyone, thank you for watching my channel, and if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a happy holiday.